We have just seen West Ham beat Burnley 4-2 at home. What a result, and what a much needed result today. Richard, Burnley, I mean, the last time out at the Olympic Stadium against Burnley was not a great day out, but today West Ham have more than made up for that. How were you feeling going into the game?
Oh, well, first of all, buzzing that we've won it. Much needed win. Going into the game, I always felt that we had enough in the tank to get the 3 points today. I think all of us would have been disappointed if we didn't.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, you can only beat what's in front of you. And Burnley are still a very tactically good side. I thought they were poor today, to be honest. But we beat them well, and we definitely 100% deserve to win. So I'm just buzzing.
Do you think it was Burnley that were poor, or did West Ham up their game today? What was your honest opinion on that?
I think first half Burnley were genuinely poor, but second half they grew into it. But we showed our class. We genuinely showed our class. And, I was one that had a go at Felipe Anderson during this week, saying that he needs to up his game, and he's shown the fans what he's about today. He could have had 4.
Yeah, I don't think there was anyone really that probably thought Anderson shouldn't have upped his game. He always needed to up his game because his form has dipped so much. I think there was a difference of fans going, should we drop him or not? And that was the biggest question. And some fans are going, well, if you play crap, you deserve to be dropped. My concern was who was there to fit in and who would suit Pellegrini's, style of play, etc. And today, like you said, Richard, he's absolutely proven his worth. He's proven his skill. He's done that already a few times in this season, but his form has dipped recently. But let's just go straight into the game. The starting lineup is as we expected. There was no real big changes. West Ham went into the first half with tempo was high. I'm just going to go quickly through this because I know had struggled to watch a bit in the first half, Richard.
Yeah.
The tempo was high. We were pressing really well. Snodgrass, the midfield, quartet or 5 players in that midfield just performed really, really well together as a unit. Obiang, Rice, just doing their job, really clean and tidy, pressing the Burnley defence, constantly pressing, which was great to see. Never really putting the Burnley, the West Ham defence into any, problems, etc. And then obviously up steps Arnie with the first goal from a mistake from the Burnley defender. So if you've not seen it, the Burnley defender, I can't remember his name, he goes to pass back to Hart. Arnautovic steps in and just hits the ball beautifully sweet round the right hand side of Joe Hart to make it 1-0 to West Ham, which was fantastic. And to be honest, we could add more chances. Diangana, Anderson together collectively in the first half in particular, they played so well together. Arnautovic loved the link-up play with Anderson. Anderson found himself in great runs, making great runs down the channel. It was just a really, really good performance. Unfortunately, we got sucker punched and it was a crap goal to concede, but we did. Burnley beat us on the offside trap and they scored to equalise literally at half-time. The worst possible time we could concede, which was 1 each going into half-time. Richard, Pellegrini, what does he do at half-time? What does he say to the players?
I think he could be genuinely proud of the first half performance because from what I saw, I didn't see all of it, but what I saw and what I heard, I thought we absolutely dominated the first half. So I think it's just a matter of being more clinical because we have the chances, but he would have been genuinely frustrated to go in at 1-1 because that's been a story of quite a few of our games this season. We've struggled to hold leads, but he would have gone out there and said, guys, don't stop the way you've played in the first half. Carry that on in the second half and just be absolutely ruthless. And luckily, it paid dividends in the second half, that's for sure.
Absolutely. We started off a bit slow in the second half. I thought personally, and Burnley started to come back into the game. And then Pellegrini made a certain substitution and he took Obiang off and put Hernandez on. Now I'm his biggest fan. I'm always going to be his biggest fan. But what I liked about this was it was a chance to see Arnie and Hernandez play together with a confident midfield behind them. Players. I mean, if you were Pellegrini looking from the bench, looking on the park, there were chances. There were chances in the first half. Many chances that West Ham had. We even had chances against Tottenham midweek in the cup, and sometimes you thought to yourself, oh, if only Hernandez was there, if only Hernandez was there. So I thought him coming on was a great substitution. What did you think of Hernandez's performance before his goal?
Yeah, I thought to go back to what you've said about Pellegrini, also I thought it was a good positive change to make. We needed a bit of energy in and around Arnautovic. He was a bit isolated at times. And I thought Hernandez did well. As soon as he came on, Arnautovic did really well down the left-hand side, put in a cross, and Hernandez very nearly got on the end of it. And you just knew that if half a chance broke, he'd be that fox in the box that sticks it away.
It seems to, bringing him on seemed to free up a little bit of Arnautovic to give him the freedom to be able to play and enjoy his football, because him and Anderson linked up. Well, in actual fact, I'm not just going to say him and Anderson, but him, Anderson, and the man of the hour, the creme de la creme, Diangana, the youthful prospect. I mean, Richard, talk to me about Diangana. I mean, what have we found in our hands here?
Oh, mate, he's getting me genuinely excited. I'm buzzing. He's ahead of his time. I mean, he's super young, but he's taken to the Premier League. This whole Premier League thing for him has been a walk in the park thus far. He's going to have to keep working hard, but there's no denying the raw talent that he has. And what I love about him the most is he's not scared to go at players. He'll run at players, take them on. He's got pace. He's skillful. Some of his passes in behind today were exquisite.
Penetration. He was penetrating. Every ball he was passing was penetrating the Burnley defence. The Burnley players, seasoned pros, looked absolutely shit scared every single time they came near him. I was listening to the commentary. He can turn a player both ways. He can switch play anytime, any possibility. He can take the ball by any player. He did that all game today. And one thing we did mention was, I don't know if you've seen the foul, but it was a blatant penalty.
Oh, mate, I've seen it.
It was a blatant penalty, and it's a shame because he got booked for it, which was a shame. But it's just part and parcel, I suppose.
But mate, you know what? Credit to Pellegrini for bringing some of the youngsters through. You know, we didn't see enough of it under Bilic. We saw barely any of it under Allardyce. And you know what? Credit to Pellegrini for giving them a chance, and he's taken it with both hands. So
it's nice to see.
Works both ways.
It's nice to see Diangana and Rice. Literally some of, if not two, of the first names on the team sheet alongside some of the other players, and it's lovely to see as a West Ham fan. It's what we've craved for a long time, and long may that continue. Now, we know as West Ham fans we can get ahead of ourselves. Richard, before we came on, you said it's like a roller coaster as being a West Ham fan, as we know, but days like today are so sweet, and we've got to always, love them, enjoy them as much as we possibly can, and it was great. But what I will say is we did score to make it 2-1 with a great goal from Anderson, a great link-up play between Arnautovic and Anderson, and then Anderson put it ball in the bottom right-hand corner. But what happened was we found ourselves against a corner, Snodgrass against Chris Woods. What's your thoughts on the marking, 2 each?
Oh, mate, it was strange. After the goal went in, my first reaction was who was marking him. And then I see it's Robert Snodgrass, that's a mismatch, really. I don't know why Diop or Balbena wasn't picking Wood up. We know how good he is in the air. He scored against us last season. So that was a strange one. And at that point, I was fearing the worst. But credits where credit's due to the players for coming straight back at them, getting the third, getting the fourth.
But you would
think
you would, but you think it 2 each that late in the game. You'd start to think, oh, what are West Ham doing? We're fucking this up again. It's all going to go to pot. But like you said, we came straight back at them again. Arnautovic and Anderson linked up. Diangana just causing havoc down the right. I thought all of our defenders played really well. I even thought Creswell played well today. There's nothing I could really fault from Creswell. There was no one really in particular. I thought Obiang was quiet. I wouldn't say he was crap today or anything. I just thought he was quiet. I didn't think he had to do much, to be honest. I think all the other midfielders allowed him to have probably a quiet day. But then off we go to up the other end of the park. Arnautovic, Anderson linking up again. The ball deflects to Anderson, and then he shoots, and the ball deflects into the back of the net. 3-2 West Ham. But it doesn't end there, because who steps up next, Richard?
Yo, man!
Chicharito!
And mate, we can't underestimate the role that Antonio had in that goal. That little chest that he done was really, really good.
Absolutely.
So credit him for that.
Absolutely. And also, what I will say is, from that chest, it looks like Hernandez loses the ball.
Yeah.
Hernandez loses the ball, but he doesn't. He managed to clinch the ball back, bring it forward, and the way he finishes that ball was fantastic. Now, listen, I'm not going to get carried away with this whole situation, but what I will say is, you play Chicharito up front in a top two with West Ham. When Chicharito came on, West Ham looked like a different team. We did.
And we've seen it before. We've seen Hernandez and Arnautovic link up before. Only a few times, and we've gone, that's something that can work. And then today we've seen it again. Yeah. Pellegrini's got a big decision on his hands, because 2 up front could genuinely work. I genuinely think it could.
But Richard, you've got to look at this. You've got to look at Chicharito, even taking him out of the equation, put Arnautovic in there. Look at Anderson on one wing. Look at Diangana on the other wing, creation. Then you've got Snodgrass. he's turning every fan. He is turning every fan from being a negative Snodgrass to pro, like West Ham, like the heart and soul of our midfield. He is just an engine. He just doesn't stop. His delivery is perfect. He had a couple of chances today. Just a good day out, really. I was just about to say good day out Upton Park, Olympic Stadium. Listen, it's only a short and sweet review. Give me your last rundown of the game today.
Massive victory. It was a must-win for us. We did the business, got the job done against a well-structured, well-drilled Burnley side, and we showed that even when the odds are against us, when they got that equaliser, we had the bottle to go in and get the job done. So just generally delighted. Credit to the boys, credit to the manager. Come on, you Irons.
Who was your man of the match, Richard?
It's a difficult one. For me, the obvious one would be Anderson because of his 2 goals, but I genuinely think Diangana was unplayable today, so I'd give it to him. I
could not agree with you anymore. I mean, it's tough between, for me, to be honest, the 2 of them were the standout players for West Ham today. But, you know, you've got to think about Diangana's age. He's stepping up to the Premier League, and he tore them to shreds today. He caused them bother. His passes, his penetration with those passes is just his ability and full stop. Tony Gale, the commentator for the match today, had said, I reckon he'll get substituted at 70 minutes because he won't be able to handle the pace. I think he lasted the 85th minute and he still looked like he could put those balls through.
Pellegrini wanted to bring him off, and then he did brilliantly for the goal, and then he gave him a bit more time, and then he got a standing ovation, and he deserved it. What a brilliant performance, Grady.
Absolutely. Listen, before we leave, we did put all our 10 games, our next 10 games, which included the Burnley game. You've seen us as fans. If you haven't, we'll put them back up again. If you look at our next 10 fixtures, which is our remaining fixtures of 2018, there's a lot of games in there with a lot of potential points to win. And getting ourselves off the mark today, in my opinion, is fantastic going into next week's game. So it's just a positive, and we need to keep that level. That's our biggest thing now, is consistency and keeping the level up there. We don't go into the next game expecting to win. We have to fight to win, because today we fought. Because we could have easily slipped and gone down an old crap path that West Ham do and be defeated, but we have to continue with this positivity and not go into like what we did with against Brighton, expecting to beat the next team when they come up. Absolutely. We have to fight. But at the end of the day, we won 4-2, 3 points on the board. Come on, you Irons. And listen, special mention to Leicester City today, because I think every fan in around the world is always thinking about them, and they got a victory for their boss man. Top notch, well done, lads. And yeah, keep going, West Ham. He's been Richard, I've been Anton, this is Irons United. Subscribe to the channel, get the comments in below. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.